Have you ever struggled to stay consistent with exercise? Hi everyone, I am Dr. Justin Kampf, and I've spoken to thousands of people who might have struggles very similar to your own. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'll break down 6 different ways that I've found that people struggle with exercise consistency. These are not all exclusive. You might identify with 2 or 3 of these things, and each of these types of people might need slightly different things to make sure that they can stay more consistent with exercise. So the first thing that people struggle with, and this is the most common one that I've heard, is going to be the all or nothing mentality with exercise. So these people build up the motivation to exercise. So in this case, starting for them is not really a problem. The problem is that they're building a routine on an unsustainable foundation. So these people exercise 4 or 5 times per week for an hour, or maybe even more than an hour. And now they can keep this up for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, but eventually what happens is they end up missing a training session. Missing 1 training session turns into missing 2 training sessions, and then within a few months, they're back to their old habits. So what these people should do instead is commit to a minimum dose of exercise and really just focus on nailing consistency before they try to bump up that intensity. I have a saying that I tell people all the time: practice consistency before you practice intensity. A lot of times people with this mentality practice intensity before they practice consistency, and that's not a great starting foundation. Now, the next barrier is different because it actually has to do with starting, okay? These people just aren't sure what to do. So we're saying these people need a plan. They've scoured the internet. They've spent way too much time on TikTok hearing conflicting stories about what they should do or what the best exercise is. There's no best exercise. Let's keep it simple. If you're new to exercise, specifically strength training, what you should be doing is a full body training routine. That means in each of your training routines, you are hitting all major muscle groups. And what I would recommend doing is staying consistent with what you're doing for about 4 weeks. And then over time, you can start to swap out the exercises. Now, machines are an incredible place to start if you are a novice, and also you can use some dumbbells. Those are literally a little bit less technically demanding. So if you're looking for what should go into a training program, let's keep this really simple. The first one is going to be, are we pushing a weight over our head? So that's going to be exercises like the overhead press. Are we pushing weight out horizontally? And so that's going to be exercises like your chest press or your dumbbell press. We want to also focus on pulling exercises. So that might mean a lat pull down where we're pulling weight down. And that also might look like a row. So that's where we're pulling weight in. In terms of our lower body exercises, you could say they're on 2 legs or they're on 1 leg. 2 legs are things like your squat. 1 leg is things like your lunge. So the best probably squat variation to start with is going to be the goblet squat. It's a user-friendly one. You might also want to consider the leg press, as that trains a similar set of muscles. Another lower body move is called the hinge. So the hinge is going to work your hamstrings and your glutes. Probably a good place to start there is a pretty light dumbbell Romanian deadlift. Also, like I said, all machine exercises are very friendly for people that are just getting started, and you can still use those to train all major muscle groups. Now, the next one that we have is people that just need a little bit more motivation. These people struggle to get started. They want to change, but it's hard for them to do it. This is characterized by ambivalence. The first thing that's helpful is to schedule your workout in. Treat it just like it's an appointment. You can also do things to reduce the need for motivation, or you can try to increase your motivation. For example, you can commit to a lower dose of exercise to get started. Maybe that means aiming for 10 minutes instead of 30. You need less motivation for things that are easier. You might also want to consider offshoring. motivation. That might mean looking like getting social support. Ask someone to work out with you. In terms of increasing motivation, you might ask yourself, what is exercise in service to? This is another way of saying, what is your why for exercise? If you can connect your exercise behavior to some deeply held value, you're going to increase the odds that you will continue. So what is exercise in service to? Next is people that really benefit from some extra accountability, and I kind of just call this the homework effect. If they tell somebody what they're going to do and they know that they have to report back to them, that's going to increase the odds that they will be consistent. Now, in this case, some of the advice is also very similar to those motivation seekers. Try to find a friend who can help you stay consistent. You might also want to consider getting a coach that's going to help with your change efforts. That might look like a personal trainer or even a health coach to help hold you accountable. The next one is overcoming injuries, and this can be tough for a lot of people. You're going to want to find a joint-friendly plan. I would also refer you to my previous video, which is strength training around injuries, and I will leave that in the notes and link that in here as well. If you do have chronic pain, it's a good idea to work with a physical therapist too. They'll be able to help you work out some of those things. A good personal trainer can also help you safely find ways to strength train around the injuries that you have. Again, please check out my previous video where I show you how to do that. Now, if you have stuck around for this long, thank you. Please consider subscribing to this channel so that I can keep bringing you exercise-related content. Now, the last one is going to be time management strugglers. So these people have a lot going on. I talk to people that have kids, multiple jobs, they're in school, so it's hard for them to fit exercise in. In this case, using your calendar is going to be very, very important. So find out where you can fit exercise in among all of your other obligations, but also make sure that you set realistic goals. Don't try to start out by blocking out an hour for exercise right off the bat. Rather aim for something less. 30 minutes is perfect to get started. Block out that 30 minutes in your calendar. And some people might also benefit from moving their obligations around. So for example, maybe you have a natural lull in your day at 12 o'clock or something. That's an excellent time to start to fit exercise in. I would encourage you to try to find creative ways to fit that into your schedule. If there's anything else that you've been struggling with in terms of exercise, please go ahead and leave that in the comments section and I'll try to address it in another video.